you know, Minecraft is this phenomena that's happened. It's got thousands of children playing it. Millions of children playing it around the world.
Why would it be so interesting? It's crossing the barrier. You see, what I notice when I watch my son and his friends playing, is that they are totally in control of this. It's their creative realm. You know, I'm looking in and going, okay, and it's amazing the stuff that's getting created. And it starts off all sorts of conversations and all sorts of ideas. What we started talking about is how does that blank world relate to the blank page? As a writer, as I approach the blank page, let's say, I'm thinking, well, what am I creating here? And each word that I place down, whoop, hi there, I'll come down.
Hello, yeah,
each word that I place down, rather more fluently than I hop up and down on these blocks, is like a block. What am I creating? So how does this link to the idea that we create block by block a world within Minecraft?
And Minecraft is a very visual place. It's a sort of three-dimensional space. It has got books in it, and it has got ways of interacting with the world as well. And I think behind its simplicity, Minecraft has got possibly really some sophisticated tools and mechanisms for creative engagement with young people and with ourselves as well, and can be quite a moving space emotionally. And
yet it's not something that, you know, people don't tend to think, oh, Minecraft, that's a video game where there's meaningful
meaningful
stories. I think that there's certainly recognition now that there's meaningful creations visually, and architecturally, but there's not so much about meaningful stories within Minecraft. So that's one of my challenges as the poet part of this project, is to look at how a meaningful story can be entered into and played within the world of Minecraft.
How do we make the written word interesting? How do we kind of make poetry relevant?
So you might be able to see
so we've
some words coming up there. Now, that line there...
I'll move closer to it.
Okay,
I'll fly closer.
I'll come in about half an hour as I plod along.
So, here we go. So I'm just flying towards this stuff. So that all these words were actually made in... There's a website you can go to, actually, and type in any phrase or word, and then it'll turn it into a schematic. And a schematic is a collection of blocks that you can import into a Minecraft world using something called MC-Edit.
So in my father's house are many mansions.
Yeah.
Now, okay, the reason we've got this up, is that I've had a line going round and round in my head, and anybody that writes will probably recognise this sensation, where there's just a line that keeps going round and round and round, and it's in my mother's house are many rooms. And I started thinking, well, where's this line come from? And quite to my surprise, I found that it's actually an echo of a line from the Bible, which is John 14:2. In my father's house are many mansions. Now, I wasn't thinking in terms of any biblical reference. I wasn't really even aware that it was there. I think that that's a side point, but that's kind of an interesting thing as to how much do classic works influence us as writers when we're not even aware necessarily that they're doing it.
Yeah,
but
and we're not.
The relevance of the lines here, for me, the reading of it is to do with grief. Now that's also the line that was running through my head about in my mother's house are many rooms. So already I'm starting to think, well, okay, I'm treading into an unknown world here, where the subject matter that is pulling me in is to do with grief and to do with life and loss, and I'm thinking, okay, how is that going to sit with a blocky world of Minecraft?
You know, are we going to be doing something serious and from the heart, if you like, or kind of as a creative journey and follow it, whatever, or are we kind of, because it's a children's game, is there a tension there? You know,
how do you bring together the idea of something meaningful and from the heart in that sense with a game? Okay, so I'm interested here. We haven't actually shown people what we were picnicking.
No,
on.
I'll fly up.
You fly up because you'll be quicker than me.
Yeah, I'll fly up.
Bye.
Away I go. So we are able to, as we see from over there, we can kind of create words out of in Times New Roman, funnily enough, and we just wrote the word poem. We placed it on its back, so we can kind of, Minecraft is good at the construction of words, and almost like, remember Winnie the Pooh, where he's running along, the cartoon where he's running along the actual word on the screen, and you can kind of see that. And Disney did that very well, kind of to animate it and stuff. So you can kind of see the page and the story entwining together, and I like those ideas.
The line we've got: in my father's house are many mansions, or as the line that was going around my head, in my mother's house are many rooms. And then I started to think about, well, what is a poem? Now, you might know or not that a stanza translates roughly, and I mean roughly, into the idea of a holding place or a room. So that got me started again. What is a poem? What are the stanzas? A stanza, by the way, is the verse, a section of the poem. So if you like, you look at the poem as a series of rooms, a series of spaces that you move through, a house, if you like. So each stanza is a different room that you're passing through.
Okay.
And the way that the poetry works is it navigates you through those rooms. So you're not seeing all of them at the same time. You're actually moving through. So a rhyme, a sound, a pattern of rhythm, a repeated phrase. These things are taking you through the rooms. So can we go in that room? Or is that just
that's
decorative?
a swimming pool room.
That's a swimming pool
It's
room.
kind
I
of
like swimming.
Come on, follow me.
It's I
can fly.
Oh no!
Just keep going through. This is our swimming pool. We could swim through it, and then we can go to the other room, the word room
there we
that
go.
I've turned into.
There we go. You see?
There we go.
So we've literally gone through the letter O.
Yeah. Now I'm going to just jump down here.
Here we go. We are actually walking inside the word the word room.
Yeah.
So you start to see, this is very skeletal ideas, but we've been talking about the idea of a series of rooms being like a labyrinth. So a labyrinth by its nature only has one path through it. It's not a maze. It has one path, and the idea is that you kind of wander through the labyrinth, and if you do that, you will eventually wander your way back to where you started, unless of course you get stopped by a raging bull or lost. So you can't actually go off track. You can just lose yourself in the meandering, which is quite possible with me walking around.
Yeah, and I like that idea of meandering.
Once you start at the beginning and end at the end, but actually once you get to the end of a poem, you really do kind of come back to the beginning, in that you see the whole poem again as something else. So we started looking at poetic forms. The villanelle, which uses this kind of repetitive line movement through the stanzas, in a way that could be seen as like a labyrinth. So these are some of the questions that we've.
Yeah, I mean, a labyrinth is very Minecrafty, and so we're kind of, so some of the ideas are, do we build something that echoes, or even kind of is a physical construction of a poem? How do we deliver the words? Because in Minecraft there are lots of ways of delivering words. We can either construct something which will actually have a recording, and you could hear recordings of poems. We could have words like this that you see in the distance as you get nearer, and that's one of the ways of kind of delivering words.
Words you can literally go inside.
Yeah, that you can kind of words that you adventure around, over, on top of, and under.
And then you've also got the adventure side of Minecraft and discovery, that there are clues within a poem to help us discover it, help us move through it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's to do with sounds or images or references that we can find,
Yeah.
you know, and kind of literally dig up.
Yeah, absolutely. Dig up and dig into. I suppose I want it to be fun, but also I want it to be serious too, which is why.
Meaningful.
Absolutely, yeah. I suppose we'll fit on that. And, well, that's why I made a swimming pool here, so we can just
bang.
We could dive bomb.
Okay,
So,
I'm going back. Okay, I'm getting back in my book.
There we go. Anyway, so thanks very much for watching, and we'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll do another video very shortly.
Well, where are you?
I'm just behind you.
Bye.
Bye now. Bye. Bye.
Woo.